Welcome to this look at a new mod map on Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on New Hope. This is a new mod map out by David Merriman, his first map. It's 40.05 megabytes download with no required mods. There are no additional mods put in by the map maker under build mode. There are no custom crops and contracts are available. I know, I've still got to do Rancho Fundo. I'll get onto that. I just jumped on this. There are 25 collectibles. I haven't come across one yet, but there are 25 collectibles. On New Farmer, we're on 929 slots. On Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, 880. Difference being, you don't start with any of the equipment or machinery on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch. The map looks like this. So on New Farmer, we do start with this plot here, and we start with this field. There's also a field here. There's also a field here. Now, I often talk about pioneer maps, generally speaking, when we're doing forestry maps. But pioneering maps don't have to be forestry maps. This one is very open grass plains. There is some forestry on here, but it's still a pioneering map. Now, this reminds me of another map I did on FS22. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but it had the same cluster here, but it had a harbour. It had water, it had a jetty and a harbour area right about here, and then it went out very, very similar. The farm area was up here somewhere with a little farmhouse, and I think it was just a farmhouse and a shed, wasn't it? Did it have a silo? I can't remember. What's interesting about this one is you don't even have a farm. You don't have a silo, you don't have a farmhouse, you don't have a shed, you don't have anything. Your equipment is kind of scattered on the field, which we're going to have a look at in a minute. Almost like a farm auction. It's very interesting. But like I say, farm management start from scratch, you don't start with any equipment or machinery. Now, I've unusually for me, when I do my map tours on New Farmer now, I put it on 1 million because sometimes you have to buy plots and factories and productions and stuff like that. So I've dropped it down to 100,000 on this because what I was going to talk about as well on here was, I mean, let's come out of here. Field prices and plot prices, they're in the 200s, some are in the 100s. So for buying the plot prices, if you want to do a bit of forestry, you've got a couple of plots up here. These ones that are over any of the forestry areas, you can do a bit of forestry. But what also I wanted to say was, so if you come in and say, well, okay, it's a pioneering map, and if I'm on New Farmer, on Farm Manager, start from scratch, I've got no equipment and machinery, how am I supposed to make any, how do you make money? There's actually a whole forestry bit there. Well, the answer to that is contracts are available. Now, that says wood transport. As you go through the day, as on any date on any map, more contracts become available. If you're on New Farm Manager and start from scratch, obviously you don't own any of the land. So those 3 fields are all available for contracts. So when I was on here earlier, I had wood transport, I had rock crushing, I had a fertilising job on one, a harvesting job on another. What were the other ones I had come up? There are about 6 contracts. Deadwood, and some other ones. So when you get contracts like that, they give you equipment and machinery, which is fantastic, very, very helpful. So even if you came on there and you decided, like I'm on now, even if I'm a New Farmer, if I wanted to remove that money, I'm trying to think what mods we've got at the moment, but a lot of people ask me how do I do that. I just lease and return equipment. Just lease and return it. And your money will go down and down and down. You can get as close to 0 as you can. Sometimes you can get exactly on 0, and you can go full start from scratch and a full pioneer story if you wanted to, which I think would be quite cool. What I'm going to do is just go here to the vehicle shop, which is where we start right next door to it, and I'm going to grab pickup, doesn't matter, don't need to do any changes to it. English number plates, very nice indeed. So vehicle shop, workshop trigger just around the corner. This is the reset point for the map as well, just here. There you go, there's your workshop trigger. And then we have got, just to the side of us, around the corner. Actually, I'm going to pick up, it'd be quicker to whiz round. We've got a small sawmill available, just here. And then when we come around the sides here, we've got the animal dealer and animal dealer sell point just there. Slurry manure point around the back, so it is the standard game animal dealer with our slurry manure buy points around here as well. So if you're going to do livestock, I'm looking at options for my next Let's Play, for my new Let's Play, whichever way you want to look at it. I was looking, because I loved, when I did my whole Mercury series, I absolutely loved that on 22, was that 19? 19. And here we've got our farmer's market and we've got a lime station. This made me smile, actually. It's a curious one. I know, I always wonder why map makers, what their thought process is. That's Lime Station 3. There aren't any other lime stations on the map. But maybe that's why it's done. It's that curiosity, isn't it, of when people go, oh, why is that 3? Where's 1 and 2? You know, it's a conversation starter. I've probably said this before. A friend of mine, a gas station just here, we used to go to his house for parties, and I can't remember who it was. I'd gone to the fridge to get something out of the fridge. Probably party-related food or something. And there was a running shoe, a trainer, sat on one of the shelves in the fridge. And they came back and thought, and it was that curious, you know, that look on their face, bewilderment of what's happening. So said to the guy, what's with the trainer in the fridge? He said it's just a conversation start, and then carried on talking. And it was literally just done it so people would open the fridge and go, huh? How bizarre is that? Anyway, so yeah, it's one of those curious things. But I'm kind of a little bit, obviously it could be really slow going. I'm thinking, because this is a little bit easier to get into as a pioneering map, because there are a couple of fields, there are some contracts available, and on a lot of the maps now that have got nothing, there are still wood transport jobs and stuff like that. So when I used to say, I would come onto a map and people would say, okay, you're starting with nothing, off you go, and your immediate thought was, well, how do I make a start? What do I do? How can I get anywhere if I don't own anything? So having those sorts of contracts available, especially on a map, I mean, this one has got 3 fields, even on a map that's got no fields on it, if you've got wood transport and rock crushing and deadwood contracts, you can kind of get the ball rolling. It's a lot harder when people say, I want you to do a series this time where you don't do contracts. Doing a start from scratch, I've said it over and over again, is nigh on impossible. But I do like the idea of this. To then, I mean, it will take a while, because even if on New Farm, when you've got a couple of fields already, the amount of contracts you have to do, so there's that field just over here, out to the east. We're going to head across the map and you'll see, like I say, there are some trees. We've got forestry right up in the corner. Is that further up? That's way further up, isn't it? Over there. But it's, I don't know, like I say, it definitely reminds me of that other map. Again, was it by Grizzly? No. I want to say by Grizzly somebody or other, maybe? I could be wrong. But it's far easier like this, to just get a plot of land and then, right, okay, I've got a plough, let's plough a field, and then we can plant. Of course, once you've got the money to buy yourself a planter, and that's your full start from scratch mode, isn't it? That's doing everything. So come out to here, that's the other small field just here, which is available for purchase or has contracts on it. And as time passes, I'll go back and check the contracts again. I think, oh, there you go, look, deadwood and wood transport. So you can gradually work your way up. I think one of the wood transport jobs I had when I was doing my prep was a 7,000 one. So you can, you know, it takes a bit of time doing contract work. And like I said, no different to my Prairie Farms Let's Play. Whilst the contracts pay out a lot more, they take a lot longer. So I could get far more contracts done on a map like this because the contracts are smaller, the fields are smaller, whatever it is you've got to do. But then the equipment I can buy, it's still going to take me a long time to build up to getting the gear. So it's, you know, swings and roundabouts and all that kind of stuff. So here's our equipment that we start with on New Farmer. And it is scattered. What I do like as well, it's all, like I say, it made me think of an auction. It's all a bit weathered. It's all a bit dirty. You know, is it damaged? Yeah, got a bit of damage on some stuff as well. But it's odd, isn't it? It's that kind of, again, the concept of just putting it kind of randomly out like that. A lot of maps you go onto and everything's lined up neatly in a shed, or even if it's like this, it's lined up, or it's at the vehicle shop, or, you know, it's very unusual And I kind of like that. My wife refers to this sort of thing as what's called a scattergun approach. It's just that blunderbuss, boom, and it just goes out in every direction, anywhere, very randomised, and that's quite cool. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm very taken with this idea. I don't know what's changed, because I know when No Man's Land came out on 19 and 22, this is the field you start with here, which is a fair sized field actually. If we crack on and do a bit of harvesting on that, we can sell that, then we can repurpose, but that will be a case of repurposing and then skipping through the months once you've done your seeding and everything's prepped and ready to go, and then harvest it again and harvest it again, and gradually building up your money to build up whatever you do, whatever empire you decide to go with. You might decide to build yourself a homestead, build yourself a house, whether you go constructibles or not, whether, you know, whatever you decide to do. But yeah, I was always on No Man's Land very kind of, I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do with it. It was so bare and blank, and I mean, I suppose this is the same. It's no different. So like I say, I don't know what's changed in me, my perception of it, to where I'm driving around this now thinking, my mind is bubbling away. I'm thinking, if I was going to do a sort of pioneering style, what would I do and how would I go about it? So little lake pond area, little river bit there with a couple of crossings, and in essence, other than driving around the edges of the map and showing you more of the sweeping terrain and clusters of trees, that's the map. That is New Hope. I don't know, I've padded it out with, just because my mind, I'm ticking over, thinking of things, you know, and if that inspires or helps anybody to think, oh, actually, you know what, I can give that a go. You can get your money down to zero if you want to, so you could come on here, you know, or you can go the other way and come on here with $1 million and just decide, I'm going to build stuff. I'm going to build a city. I'm going to build an industrial zone. I'm going to put roads in, because there's all those mods. There's that road network mod that when you put that in and you build the roads and you set workers off, the AI will follow the road networks. And we now know as well, of course, on FS25, that if you make your own fields, the AI and GPS will work on any fields you make as well. So you can just do whatever you like and just go for it. Build whatever you want. So there you go. I keep saying A New Hope. New Hope by David Merriman. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.